Perfect Day, an Amanda the Adventurer fanfiction by Kessie-Louise. Daddy, I think Riley hates me. The beach was a pretty rare treat for the Coltons. Rebecca could easily count on one hand all the other times they've gone so far. This trip was different. Kind Miss Kate from the library had brought her little niece on the trip. Miss Kate was still at the hotel, though. She caught a stomach bug after last night's sushi adventure. It was also Miss Kate's idea to dress Rebecca and Riley up in the same bathing suit. Both her and Sam marveled that they were two peas in a pod, practically sisters. Rebecca didn't see it, but found she didn't quite care enough to question it. Sam, who had been sitting on a beach towel parallel to Rebecca, raised an eyebrow. "Oh, what makes you think that, sweetie?" 5-year-old Rebecca made a grimace as she pulled her knees up to her chest. A good distance away, there was 3-year-old Riley. Far enough that Rebecca was sure Riley wouldn't hear if she used a whisper voice, but close enough that if someone came up to Riley, Sam would be at the toddler's side in seconds. Not that Riley seemed to care. Still sucking on a pacifier, Riley had found a piece of driftwood and was now drawing something in the sand. "I don't know," Rebecca finally admitted. "She just doesn't talk much. It's weird." Sam gave his daughter a tilt of his head. He mirrored her position, also bringing his knees up to his chest as he sat up a bit more. "Rebecca," Sam then started to say, "remember when Miss Kate introduced us to Riley for the first time? She taught us a special word. Do you remember what it was?" Rebecca had to think about it for a moment. "Mute. She told us Riley was mute." "That's right." "It's still weird, though." Sam sighed. He looked back over at Riley, still drawing with severe intent. "You and Riley have a bit in common, you know," Sam said, more to himself than Rebecca proper. "You weren't much older than Riley is now, and you had a hard time talking, too." "I did?" Sam nodded. "When I adopted you, all you could really tell me was please, and thank you, and ask to go to the bathroom. I was afraid you would never really talk to me, but one day you did." "I did?" "You did. I asked you what you wanted for breakfast, and you gave me the most detailed order ever." Sam laughed a little. "Pancakes with mouse ears, chocolate chips, bananas, and even gummy worms." "Gummy worms? I did not." "You did too." Sam was grinning ear to ear from the memory now. "I made it all for you, and you ate it faster than I could blink. When you told me how much you loved it, it was the first time you called me Daddy, too." Rebecca gave a smile of her own. Though young, she knew full well how happy it made Sam when she called him Daddy. She wouldn't know why, but she knew it meant a lot to him. That led Rebecca to look back at Riley. Maybe Riley would talk more if she also got a detailed food order? Something she really wanted. Something she really, really loved. Something told her that Riley was starting to get hungry, and maybe, just maybe, Riley was thinking of something to eat. Something that tastes like the sunshine coming through the wide-brimmed hat Aunt Kate had made Riley wear. "Daddy," Rebecca then said, turning to Sam, "can we get a snack?" Her answer came without a single hesitation. "Sure." Sam then cupped his hands to his mouth to shout, "Riley, snack time!" Riley's little head immediately perked up. With driftwood in hand, Riley started to half-walk, half-run to the beach towels. The driftwood dragged across the sand until enough got buried that it almost made Riley fall over. Sam reacted quickly, but Riley recovered quicker. Driftwood ditched in the sand now, Riley stood in front of the beach towels and gave 2 sucks of her pacifier, signaling that she was ready to go. There was a lot of gawking as the trio made their way down the boardwalk, mostly directed at Riley. That white hat Aunt Kate put on her, almost as wide as Riley was tall. Rebecca wanted nothing more than to tell each and every person off. Riley didn't even like that hat. It was too big. She wanted to feel the sunshine on her shoulders. Sitting in the stroller made it worse, but it was easier for Sam, so in the stroller Riley stayed, at least until they got to the smoothie stand. Riley could not have gotten out of there faster and to the counter. Rebecca was a step behind as Sam pulled out his wallet. "Well, hello there," the guy behind the smoothie counter greeted the kids. "Hot day, innit?" Both Rebecca and Riley nodded their heads. Their eyes were already scanning over the menu. Could Riley read? Rebecca wasn't sure, but she knew what the toddler wanted. "1 super big pineapple smoothie, please," Rebecca told the smoothie guy. "A super big one?" Sam repeated with amusement and a bit of confusion. He took a quick glance at the prices before looking back at Rebecca. "Who's that going to be for, honey?" "Me and Riley." "You're going to share?" "Yep." This seemed to perplex Sam a bit. Rebecca, you've never had pineapple before. How do you know you'll... It's Riley's favorite. Riley's little eyes grew wide. A sure, how did you know, in the most sincerest form. It did not go unnoticed by Sam, who was genuinely debating giving Kate a call to confirm the bias. Okay, he finally relented. He looked to the smoothie guy before affirming, "You heard the lady. Your largest pineapple smoothie, please." In moments, the trio was sitting on a park bench with Sam in the middle, holding the smoothie. Riley and Rebecca took opposite sides next to him. They each had their own straws that they bent down to sip from. It was the first time that day Riley did not have her pacifier. Sam had placed it in a Ziploc bag for safekeeping until they were done with the smoothie. And make no mistake, the kids absolutely demolished that sweet, tangy treat. Riley loved the taste so much that she started to wiggle a bit in her spot. Rebecca noticed and started to wiggle along. Sam laughed at them. "That good, huh?" he even teased. "You bet," Rebecca agreed, grinning from ear to ear. Even Riley was eagerly trying to say how much she loved it, repeatedly moving a flat hand to touch her chin, then outward. Rebecca knew it was sign language, but she didn't know which sign it was. It looked a lot like a thank you, though, even if it wasn't. After the smoothie was finished, the kids, in silent agreement, had let Sam take the final sips. Riley was resigned back to the stroller as the trio worked their way back down the boardwalk. Rebecca walked right beside the stroller. Feeling confident that the snack was exactly what Riley needed at the time, she felt bold enough to try to hold the toddler's hand. Not the most comfortable arrangement, but Sam did his best to match Rebecca's steps so she didn't end up being dragged along instead. Riley had her pacifier again and was gently sucking on it as they went along. Riley's head turned as they passed by a glitzy souvenir shop. In something that sounded a lot like a squeak, Riley started fussing to get out. "What's up, Riley?" Sam soon asked. "Smoothie wear you down for an early nap?" A distressed wail came from the toddler as she rigorously shook her head. Realizing that she was still holding Rebecca's hand, Riley tugged her in close, doing her best to get the older's attention. Annoyed for only a moment, Rebecca looked right into Riley's eyes. Riley looked back with wide, near tear-filled eyes that begged to be understood. Unconsciously, Rebecca turned her attention to the souvenir shop. There was something in the window that made her brain click. "Hey, Daddy?" "What's up, Buttercup?" Rebecca pointed at the shop. Sam's eyes followed. He soon saw what was giving Riley a fuss and laughed. Minutes later, out came Rebecca and Riley wearing matching pairs of shutter shades. "Oh yeah, work it, girls!" Sam cheered. To himself, he half mumbled, "Should have remembered the camera. Kate's gonna love this." The joy on his face was unbridled. This was going to be a moment he'd harass the girls about years from now. Every time they were together, birthdays, prom, he was going to mention this moment. They returned to the beach not long after. Sam made sure that their belongings were still intact as the girls ran to the ocean. Hand in hand, Rebecca led Riley as they combed the beach for shells. "Seashells, seashells, she sells seashells," Rebecca idly sang. Riley shared the sentiment, bobbing her head side to side to the tune. Each time a wave broke the shore, Rebecca would shout, "Riley, jump!" and the two would jump in time whether or not the wave actually reached their feet. One wave came up to shore far quicker than either kid could recognize. It lapped at Riley's ankles before succumbing to its own undertow. The water did not recede far before Riley let out a strangled yelp. In gargled noises, the toddler pointed to her toes. Rebecca immediately looked where Riley was pointing. There, rested quite firmly on Riley's big toe, was a small hermit crab. Seeing it gave Rebecca a surprised shout of her own. Unimpressed by all the hubbub, the hermit crab started to crawl off Riley's toe and fell directly into the sand. It readjusted itself for all of a moment before moving forward, right onto Rebecca's toes instead. The girls watched with rapt fascination as it moved along. Soon it was back in the sand again, heading toward the ocean once more. Rebecca and Riley looked at each other. A wide grin etched itself onto Riley's face then. The toddler hunched over, moving Aunt Kate's wide hat from her head to her back, and started to walk, to the best of her tiny ability, similar to the hermit crab. Rebecca immediately caught on. She also hunched over, and instead of a hat used her arms to make an awkward shell shape. Laughing, the duo hermit crab walked over the beach and occasionally into the water. Their fun was put on hold when Sam called, "Riley, nap time!" The kids looked to each other. Sharing the same wavelength, they continued to walk like crabs all the way to Sam and the beach towels. He didn't dare question them. If anything, he was still wishing he had a camera on him. Riley went through all the motions of getting ready for nap time on her own. She laid down on the beach towel, finally removed the shutter shades, and adjusted Aunt Kate's hat to act as a blanket. Rebecca lay down on her own beach towel. The two stared at each other as Riley's eyes slowly started to close. There was a small smile on Riley's face. Rebecca watched as it slowly faded the more Riley drifted off. Once Riley was completely asleep, her soft breathing brought peace to Rebecca. There was no doubt. Riley was Rebecca's best friend. Somewhere, further down the beach, someone was blasting music from a radio. The peppy music talking about having a perfect day was goading Rebecca to sleep too. On this perfect day, nothing standing in my way. On this perfect day, when nothing can go wrong. It's the perfect day. Tomorrow's gonna come too soon. I could stay forever as I am. Because you know what? It was the perfect day, and Rebecca couldn't wait to have another.